All right, this is our commentary for The Mummy 1999. My personal pick for favorite Mummy movie. I think I think it was inspired to go. We're just gonna make it like an Indiana Jones esque film. Obviously, some
Okay.
wonky '90s CGI, but I don't think anything super distracting. Um, so everybody get to timestamp 0 in three, two, one, play.
A Universal picture.
Peace.
Do you remember those early like Universal Studios DVD intros where I remember where it's like a clip
Yes,
show of like a
it's like
bunch
a
of
clip
Universal movies
show.
and it's mostly Jurassic Park and the Mummy.
Yes, you just awoke a memory in me.
Now, I'm gonna defend some of the CGI in this movie. It is funny that right off the bat we get this establishing shot of Egypt. I'm like, wow, that looks a lot like the animated movie The Prince of Egypt, and the Prince of Egypt looked a little more realistic.
Oh,
That's fine. There's charm to it.
this is probably my favorite Fraser movie.
It's gotta be. I definitely got to go back to some of his earlier work.
So, as a kid, this and George of the Jungle really defined my Brendan Fraser experience, like movie
Yes,
experience. I'm scared to go back to George of the Jungle.
I need to go back to it.
Uh,
And here we have Arnold Vosloo.
the other Dark Man. I don't know if you know that, but he plays Darkman in the sequels
Yes.
to.
Oh, I don't know why it's weird to me that those predate this.
No, it is weird. Well, no, I said that I was like, wait a minute, I better specify.
That's not Liam Neeson.
And I love the look with like the gold.
Yeah.
Tyler says that the whale is fantastic. I don't know. That just didn't look like my thing.
Yeah.
I have
And
no
I
idea
did.
what Rental Family is.
That's his most recent movie, Rental Family. That's pretty good. Like
Okay.
that's a good little drama comedy. I will say this is one of the sloppiest assassinations I've seen in
No,
a movie.
don't
Who
say that. Why
touched
say
you?
that? You said it was Mistress. Isn't it his daughter?
No, I think she's his mistress.
Okay.
My priest. Ah, fuck.
That is a little awkward. Like he's like freeze framed dying.
I do like this change though that we make her in on the plan. Like, oh, they're gonna execute me. That's fine. You'll bring me back. It'll be well. I mean, they don't kill her. She kills herself. But
Well,
so
and I
that's a
like
change that
the
works.
dedication to the language. Like I'm assuming this is Egyptian.
Yeah, that is surprising going back to this, and we keep that consistent the whole movie. There's never a switch where we have Arnold Vosloo
Okay,
just like
you're right because she says my body is no longer his temple. That is
okay.
not a. I hope not anyway. Uh, Anime fan says Deadly Do Right is a really good film. I remember loving that, but I've only seen it once.
I never saw that one. City of the Dead.
Um, and then the main like warrior guy in this, Oded Ferrer or whatever.
Yes.
He is in
I like
Resident
that.
Evil Apocalypse as Carlos from RE3.
Oh, cool. And his character name is Ardeth Bay, which is a nod to Imhotep's alias in the first
Oh,
movie.
that's cool.
Yeah. The other thing I know Oded Fair from is he voices Dr. Fate in the Justice League cartoon.
Oh, that's cool. I like him
Yeah,
a lot in this movie.
he's great. I'm glad he comes back in the second one.
Does he come back in the third one?
No.
Okay. I don't blame him.
Oh my god, spooky CGI ghosts scare me.
It's true. This was a thing at the time because the House on Haunted Hill remake has an effect extremely similar to this.
And the haunting. Haunting's
Yes.
got a lot of that.
Yeah.
No, this movie, like the big talking point as a negative, people are like, "Oh, the CGI is so bad and so dated." It's like this movie looks like it has restraint if you compare this to The Haunting.
Yes.
Because yeah, there are a few shots like that here and there that don't look great, but I don't know. It's like 10% of the visual effects in this movie look dated and bad, but 90% look fantastic. I think most of the movie looks great.
I will say I buy them mummifying him alive here more than the original. Because the original he's just like a mild annoyance. They're like, we're gonna kill you.
Well, but I don't know. He portrayed the. I mean, he committed sacrilege.
Oh my
You know.
god. No, that is horrifying.
Yeah.
And I hate the bugs. The
Oh God.
Anime fan says he also voiced Mr. Freeze in Batman Mech versus Mutants.
Oh, the more you know.
I think I've seen that. Although I did watch those Batman Unlimited movies when Cap did the Batmania on those. Those are surprisingly good for what they are.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen those, so I should check those out.
I love that little like mechanic that they have that like
The key.
turns. Yes. All of the Scarab stuff looks amazing. It's been amazing.
I think
back to this.
I think the scarabs look pretty good.
The Scarabs make me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And forgive me, I don't know much about scarabs. That's not how they work in real life, right?
No,
Like, okay.
no, these are movie scarabs.
Okay.
Okay, that title card looks bad.
Yes. I don't remember that. Holy cow. Don't do that.
But I assume you've never been on the Revenge of the Mummy, the ride at Universal Studios.
I'm not a theme park guy.
Yeah, that I will say is probably the best indoor roller coaster I've been on. I've been on it many times. It's really cool. Yeah, I love that it's indoors just because the set design, you're just in the temple the whole time and there's like mummy animatronics, and it's a really cool, really fast roller coaster, and then it goes backwards at one point. But there's one point in the ride where it stops and there's like scarab noises and they like blast air at you to make you feel like scarabs are crawling on you. It's really creepy and awesome.
Do you think part of what we can't crack about the Mummy nowadays is we insist on making it a modern day film?
Yeah, I think the period piece angle is a big part of this movie's charm.
Tyler says the Scorpion King looks great in the next one. Yeah. I mean, because people make fun of that. That didn't even look good at the time. Like, that is infamously bad.
Well, I don't know. I think it's historically interesting because that is an early example of something where they just didn't have enough time and money, and that's why it looks as bad as it does. And then give it 20 years, and that's just the norm now.
Benny, what are you doing?
Benny's great. Benny does nothing wrong.
You're on the wrong side of the river.
But I think that the key ingredient to this movie that makes it feel so special is, yes, it takes the original and turns it into an action movie, but it's also a throwback to old Hollywood, old swashbuckling adventure flicks. It doesn't feel like it's chasing trends at the time. No. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be like a hip 90s movie. And that's something that I think has really helped it hold up.
And I think most importantly is it's not trying to supplant the original. The guy that made this clearly loves that original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, I've always thought it was a shame what happened to Fraser, because I like his career in the 2000s, because I think he's the last great like action comedy actor.
Yeah, he's among my favorites. Like he has a very like he has those qualities of Harrison Ford, Kurt Russell, and Bruce Campbell,
Yes.
where they can be really cool and fun, and the movie can also let them be kind of a buffoon.
No,
And
this movie
that's why
doesn't
he's
work
great.
without Fraser.
No, like yeah, you have the wrong actor in this role. This completely falls apart. It's so over the top. I love it.
Yeah.
And of course, the actor playing Benny is a Stephen Summers regular because he'd also be Igor in Van Helsing.
Oh, I never thought about. I loved that movie as a kid. I even
Me
rented
too.
the video game tie-in at one point.
Yeah, my friend Donnie had that game.
I
Van
sucked at
Helsing
it.
is something that's something we'll cover on the channel at some point.
I think
And
that movie is overhated.
I do too. I mean, that's that I'd say I think of as much more of a guilty pleasure than this. Like, I will not say I think that Van Helsing is a great movie. I love it. I have a nostalgic soft spot for it. This movie legitimately holds up. This movie is fantastic.
Yes.
And I'm glad time has been kind to it. And this is one of those movies where the people like us who grew up with it have really reclaimed it and are like, no, this is a classic of a genre. Because when this comes out, of course, critical reviews are very mixed. A lot of people are like, it's not like the classic.
Yeah.
This is dumb audience popcorn schlock, and it just goes to show how much our expectations are just in the floor now. Because compared to a lot of modern movies, this looks like a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, and I mean, we should mention like this is a beloved movie now, but even on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes, it only has a 64%.
which is tragically low.
Yes.
Like,
No, I think this might be my favorite of the '90s like Universal attempts at a revive.
like I said earlier, this was in development hell for like a decade. Joe Dante was attached at one point, but he wanted to make it just a straight up horror comedy, and I don't know if that would have worked or not. Clive Barker was going to do something fucked up and weird with it. I'd be very curious to see that. And then George Romero was also attached for a while and wanted to do
Ah.
it.
So this had like an $80 million budget, which seems really big at the time, but it
Mhm.
made like 400 million at the box office. Like this thing was huge.
It was a big hit. It's like the best and worst thing that's happened to this franchise because it's like we both agree this is the best Mummy movie. This was their biggest success, but this is also the success they've then been chasing for the last 25 years.
Yes. No, this movie is why the 2017 movie is the way that it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, Anime fan, a lot of really popular classics have low scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, that is true.
It's true. And Rachel Weisz, so good
So,
in these movies.
yes.
And this is just one of those like really pointless, goofy stunts, but you gotta respect the commitment. You know, they had to build all this shit, do this for real.
She's just like me, for real.
Yeah, I can relate. And speaking, just putting aside nostalgia, whatever, I think the comedy in this movie holds up. Like, I still think this is a
Yes.
very funny movie, which is obviously subjective, but there's a lot of other movies from this era where there's jokes that you're like,
How?
I love this guy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know who this. I can't think who this actress. He's just like that. It's that guy.
yeah,
Uh,
I'll look him up. This movie has a bunch of
Eric
'90s
Avari.
character. Yeah. So you know him from Independence Day. I think he's in the opening scene of that.
Okay.
And he's also in Daredevil. He's Elektra's father in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, just a great '90s character actor.
Um, well, and it helps that this is very classic comedy. And something that I
Yeah.
appreciate too is in this modern era, a lot of movies are when they do romance, it's either undercooked or a very like toxic relationship. This is the romance that's going to develop between Eve and Rick. I think is a very classic,
Yes.
healthy relationship.
Well, and they do bicker a lot throughout the movie, but it's in a very funny,
Yes, it's not
tongue-in-cheek
like
way.
I think you two hate each other, but the script demands that you get
Right.
together.
Exactly. And like I said earlier, we do mention that she's half Egyptian, which is a nod to the
Which
lady from the original.
I mean, sure, I believe Rachel Weisz is half Egyptian, but whatever. And then her brother might be the best character in fiction.
He's wonderful.
No, I
I
have
love him.
issues with The Last of Us season one, but when he shows up in like the prologue, I was like, hey, I haven't seen you
That's
in like
I
20 years.
I remember watching that like this guy's really familiar. And they did okay. We'll see how it turns out. I'm very nervous about it, but they did confirm he'll be coming back for the new movie. So
Cool. I forgot he comes back for the third one too.
yeah, him and Fraser are the only two people that are in all three movies. It's very strange.
The
Also,
cinematography looks great.
yeah, and I mean this museum in Cairo also a reference to the first movie because the Cairo Museum in the first one is a
Mhm.
major setting. Um, and obviously this mummy dummy is meant to look very cheesy in like some of the older ones.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite and one of the most underrated brother sister pairings in movies.
Yeah.
They're really fun together, and they're because 9 times out of 10 when we do siblings, they just hate each other
Yes.
in movies.
Well, it's. I mean, I didn't grow up around my siblings, so I just have like a kind of osmosis knowledge. But I feel like either they hate each other, or they get along perfectly, and that's not how siblings work. But also, the
Right.
internet doesn't understand what siblings mean anymore. Because unfortunately, I get a lot of like fandom crap on my social media now, and it's just people bickering on if characters are siblings or not. My current example is somebody's monitoring what I'm doing, because the minute I started watching Naruto, I started getting a bunch of Naruto stuff on my social media. But I got a post the other day talking about how two of the main characters see each other as siblings, and I'm like, my brother in Christ, he had a crush on her for the first like 500 episodes.
Ugh.
He asks her out on a date like every other episode. I don't do that with my siblings. Like, there's an episode later on when his dad is reanimated, and he's like, "Is this your girlfriend?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." Real sibling energy there.
Bored.
Stop! Don't relax. Although the internet also speculated that, because I don't know if you saw, but there's been a big hurrah about Leon possibly being married somewhere off screen,
Oh yeah.
and people are like, "Well, he married Sherry," and I'm like, I hope not. It'd be fucking weird. Necropolis is just a cool word. We should use that more in, like, in horror.
Absolutely.
Wait till I make you watch Return of the Living Dead Necropolis. That was a sci-fi movie.
Oh no.
No, that franchise's fall off should be studied. It releases that first movie, which is up there with like the George Romero trilogy of influential zombie movies, and then by the fifth movie, they're sci-fi direct-to-TV movies. I also just love how
Okay.
dirty and grimy characters are allowed to be in these movies. A lot of
Yeah.
times
Also,
now, everybody's so like clean and
what's up with these hamster wheels these guys are running in? I don't know what they're there for.
that's how they power this place.
That's how they get their television.
in the 30s
In 20s.
and the 20s.
Oh my god, it's George of the Jungle.
He does kind of just look like he came off the George of the Jungle set.
And one thought I never had before is Eve has kind of Evelyn in this. She reminds me a little of Jane in the Disney Tarzan movie,
Yeah.
and he's very Tarzanish in this scene.
Well, it's that same kind of like archetype type, right? Like
Hmm.
the sophisticated, intelligent woman
Yeah.
and the dumbass.
Well, and she's never like obnoxious or feels like she's above these people. Like she's just out of her element, but like her curiosity makes her endearing.
Yeah.
And then the way she just steps over him.
Well, and what I like too that we've kind of forgotten is just she's not a woman and then a character. She's a character that just so happens to be a woman. Like that,
Yeah.
being a woman is not her character trait.
Well, and at the time, I can understand at the time seeing a movie like this and going, okay, it's another damsel in distress. We've done this a million times. But it's worth noting that Rachel Weisz wanted this role because she was like, oh, this character actually has more depth and is more three-dimensional than you typically see in these types of action movies. And that's what drew her to it. And I can understand at the time some of the tropes being a little more tired, but now that it's like 25 years past and we've had a lot more variety in these types of movies, both good and bad, that it's a lot easier to just go with the movie and enjoy and appreciate what it's doing.
Well, it
Like
also just helps. Like I said, we've gotten so much worse at these kind of tropes. Like now it's she woman. What more you want? He man.
and and as far as these types of adventure movies go, we just don't make movies like this anymore. Like, what's
I,
the last one we got? Jungle Cruise?
that's not true. Indiana Jones 5 just came out. You fraud.
Yeah,
That was a great
that was like
adventure movie.
that was like 3 years ago, John.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh my God, they just hanged Brendan Fraser
He's really hanging around.
a little. You know the stunt almost killed him, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
So
knew this is one of the movies that like really fucked him up, but I didn't know.
so I think it is a stunt guy who does the drop, but then when you get the close-ups on his face, like it's actually choking him.
Oof.
And he's like standing on his tippy toes, and then they just did it too tight, and he's told the story many times where he's like everything just went like and then he just woke up like on the floor with his head in the dirt like what's going on. Like
Jesus.
it's one of those stunts where he was like clinically dead for like 10 seconds, like they had to resuscitate him.
That's insane. I
It's
love
fucked
that
up.
part of Rachel Weisz's filmography now is What If. They got her back for that.
Oh
How embarrassing.
yeah.
She's an actress that I've only seen in this and
Black Widow.
yeah. Although apparently she's in that fourth Bond movie or Bourne movie, but I didn't watch that. To your
Oh my God.
existence, I said no, thank you.
And just this trio is such a fun, interesting dynamic. Like we don't do any like bickering with Rick and Jonathan. Like their dynamic's great.
Well, it's
Uh,
very the classical, right? Like you have the the action hero guy, the the heart of the team guy, and then the smart woman. Like it's the golden trio in Harry Potter. It's
mhm. Well, and John Hannah, who plays Jonathan, he did feel like everyone, and I can understand this. Like everyone felt like they were making a different movie, and didn't think it was gonna work. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm not even sure what I'm doing here. Like, I don't know what I contribute to the plot." But like when you see the finished package, it's like, well, he's the glue that holds them together. Like you said, he's the heart, and he has a couple things he gets to contribute. Like I like that he's not a complete idiot,
He really is
which we
the Ron
sometimes do.
Weasley of this movie.
Except if Ron and Hermione were siblings, which is weird.
Well,
But don't
okay.
think about it.
My hot take is I never bought them as a romantic pairing in the first place in the books, or especially in the movies that didn't bother. Uh, I don't know. The way they fought seemed more like sibling like to me, but hey, what do I know? I didn't get paid millions of dollars to write those books. Tyler says that Paddington 3 was great. I've never seen them. I can't tell if that's like a meme that those movies are great or
I've heard they're great, but I mean, if he's is he talking about like my adventure movie comment? Because like those are obviously very a lot more kiddie and lighthearted. If
yeah, I
that's what
don't
he's
know
talking
why he
about.
brought up Paddington. Unless is Rachel Weisz in that? I don't see
Oh,
it on her
maybe.
filmography. I require elaboration.
Another '90s character actor man in this is the British guy, the guy with the fez. That's Jonathan Hyde. I know him as the dad. I also know him as the dad from Jumanji, and he's also that hunter guy in
Oh yeah, yeah,
Jumanji,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and he's in Titanic. But yeah, because that's one of those where I'm like, I've seen this guy before, but I can't place him.
No, because I watched
I love
Jumanji
Jumanji.
a lot,
Me too.
and I felt really stupid when somebody pointed out that the hunter and the dad are the same guy.
Yep.
But you know what? I love that thematically. Nobody talks about it. The
Yeah.
dad represents all of his like fears and trauma, and then that
Hmm.
comes right around to the hunter. I also just think
It's
of that
great.
goofy ass face that he makes when he's being blown back in the boat.
Another angle that I really grew to appreciate with Jumanji as I got older, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome because it's Evil Dead for kids, where
Yeah.
it's a board game instead of a book, and it hits a lot of the same beats. You have the time displaced protagonist, you have
Yes.
crazy evil shit trying to kill him.
And the CG when that kid gets sucked into the board game is legitimately bad, and it makes me uncomfortable.
It's horrifying.
That's also the woman lead in that. I think, 'cause that's the only thing I've seen her in.
Yeah, she's great in that movie though.
Yeah, Bonnie Hunt as. Oh no, that's not true. She's in the Green Mile, which, if you ever want to die, watch that
Great.
movie.
And now Benny's back. We love Benny.
No, we love Benny.
Think of my children. You don't have any children. Someday I might.
That's me.
This movie is legitimately funny,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Last thing,
apologizing.
last thing I'll say on Jumanji is that monkey makeup at the end is great.
Yeah. No, the monkey makeup's good. The CGI monkeys, woof.
Those are a different kind of great.
Oh,
I can confirm though, I laughed at like a lunatic every time that one almost sets himself on fire when they're in the kitchen. No, I think the worst animal effect in that is that lion. That is not a lion.
I love the goofy puppet lion. Goodbye, Benny. I love this part. Like we're on a boat now, so we get to do boat stunts.
Yeah. There was something about the 90s and boats. Because there's that long ass section of a Turbo Power Rangers movie where they're just on a boat. And I'm sure there's others, but that one sticks
We
in my mind because you get those like weird slimy turtle things. And Justin's like, guys, help! And I was like, you're a fucking Power Ranger. Put some
uh,
clothes on. No, but I like we're already getting kind of hints that like she's attracted to him. She liked that kiss.
Hmm. We talked over it earlier, but that's my actual favorite quote in the movie is when they first meet, and she's like, "You know where Hamanatra is? Do you swear?" And he goes, "Every damn day."
Yeah,
That's a great line.
I don't like this guy. He's creepy.
Well, okay, this is the funny tropey thing this movie does. So when we the audience are supposed to think these guys are bad guys, they look super scary and evil, so we can kill them without thinking of the consequences or the humanity of them. But then when we find out what they're actually about later, they get to be good and just don't think about
Yeah,
all the ones we murdered.
that's fine.
I'm the map. It's
Relax, it's
all up
all up
here,
here. If that was
and I
me,
love.
we'd be lost. I'd forgot. I'd forgotten.
Oh, absolutely. Jonathan accidentally sets the sky on fire.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, just because I clicked on the wrong Wikipedia page. The last thing I want to say about Jumanji, to go back a little bit, is my favorite subplot in that movie is just all the awful shit that happens to that cop.
Yes, he's so good. I love that guy.
That's like just here's the worst day in this guy's life.
This gag is so stupid. I love it with the bullets.
I didn't realize that the little boy from Jumanji is Tails in Sonic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes,
Oh, God, we're killing so many people.
that's fine. This movie also has a way of making shooting exciting.
Yes.
One of the oddest experiences that I've ever had in a theater was going to see Suicide Squad, the 2016 one. And I'm sitting there
Yeah.
watching them shoot down just mindless drones, and I'm like, how am I bored right now? What is happening?
And it's just, oh, all these fire stunts just look so good.
Yeah.
And then you look at modern adventure
Wait here,
movies
I'll
like
go get help.
uh, now, John, you've actually seen this picture. How would you say this compares to The Jungle Cruise
Well, the
visually?
Jungle Cruise is obviously a much better looking film. You know, the Rock just beat special effects in a submission.
It is from the director of Black Adam.
We love Blackest Adam. Well, and what I appreciate too is because I'm not one of those that has to have a slasher movie with well developed characters and like all that. Like if you have cool kills, I'm in. But we just introduced a bunch of people for the mummy to kill later, but I like them.
Yeah, the like the main American guy, the one with the longer hair, who was just shooting that
Yeah.
guy a million times. That actor is Stephen Dunham. He auditioned for Rick O'Connell. Obviously, didn't get it, but they liked him so much they were like, you know, you could be this other guy. So he's in the movie.
There was
He
something.
died. He died very young, so R.I.P. I just wanted to
Oh,
give him a shout out. Yeah, he
rest
was
in
48.
peace.
Yeah, he had a heart attack.
That's
But
unfortunate.
but for being such a small part, like he stands out. You know, he's
Yeah.
fun. Like I like those American guys.
Oh God, I'm
I,
blanking now. But there was something I was watching the other day where they went into audition for something but got a secondary character. Oh, I think it was Sarah Michelle Gellar. She auditioned for Buffy, but they wanted her for Cordelia at first
oh,
because she
that's
had kind of a
interesting.
reputation of playing a bad girl. She's like, no, I want to
Hmm.
be, you know, like the I want to try to be the hero. And then she went on to be in Cruel Intentions, where she's a bitch again, but
Yay!
which I haven't seen yet. But the only thing I know about that movie is that because everybody, I think it was like a joke in a lot of like comedies around the time, is she makes
It
out
was a
with Selma Blair.
it's a very often parodied scene.
Yes.
And here we have Rick O'Connell in his Uncharted 3 Nathan Drake outfit.
Yes.
That's the
There's
thing we never
apparently a
talk about.
game tie-in for this, but I've heard it's really bad.
Yeah, I have heard it's very bad. But No, I love the Uncharted games, and they're always, of course, described as like Indiana Jones, but in modern day. But surely Rick O'Connell was an inspiration, right? Like,
I feel like it because those get more supernatural than Indiana Jones does. Like Indiana
I
Jones
see
gets
they're on par.
supernatural, but I think Uncharted goes a little further. Because like the first one has
Okay.
little gremlin zombie things.
Oh yeah, the well, because zombies are all the rage in
Yes. No.
2008. So
So I like the first Uncharted. I hate that section. Those things are so fucking annoying. And then in two, you've got like the weird blue people. Or is that
yeah,
three?
no, the two has the weird blue people,
Another thing that James Cameron ripped off when making Avatar. I'm just saying.
and then
No,
and
because
like I,
it always frustrates me. I love the Uncharted games, but when you get to the supernatural part, is that when I feel like I'm kind of done with this. I'm ready to move on.
yeah, and then four is the only one where they're like, ah, fuck it, we're not doing supernatural stuff. But all this stuff looks gorgeous. We're in a
Yes.
real desert. Again, looks very old Hollywood. And a lot of people got sick making this movie. It was a pain in the ass to film.
I bet.
There's a quote. There's a quote from Brendan Fraser where he's like, "Well, no, it's the job. It's hard work. Like, if it was easy, then everyone would be doing this." Like,
No, he's
not
been. I've been getting a lot of clips of him at like cons now talking about this, and he just seems like such a nice guy.
he's great. Well, and he's always been frank about how he kind of fucked up his body making these movies and did way too many of his own stunts. But he's also never like turned on them or been bitter about it. Like
No,
he always has nice things to say about this cast and crew. It does seem to remember these movies very fondly. I in Looney Tunes Back in Action, because that's the other Fraser movie I saw when I was a kid, and there's the meta joke because his character in that is a stunt guy, and he says, "Have you seen those mummy movies? I'm in them more than Brendan Fraser is." And as a kid, that like broke my brain because that was the first like meta joke I ever heard in anything.
mine was either that or Tarzan or Tarzan, George of the Jungle 2. Because there's a scene in George of the Jungle 2 where the movie just stops, and the narrator asks him what happened to Brandon Fraser, and the new guy goes, "The studio is too cheap to hire him."
That's great.
Uh, oh, fun fact too: Brandon Fraser is from Indianapolis, which is the capital of my
Oh,
state.
oh, that's awesome.
Tyler, have you guys seen Doom Patrol? I saw a bit of the first season because that was why I watched it because that was his big like return.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean he's good. It's unfortunate that it's just a voice, but I mean he's good.
Mhm. Yeah, I think he does some flashbacks in an episode or two, but I do need to watch that show.
Yeah, no, that show, both that and Titans, just kind of kept chugging along. I don't know anybody that watched them, but they kept making it. But no, Frasier just seems like a really cool guy, and like
Oh yeah,
he loves what he
very
does.
likable. Like I said, I'm very nervous about that next Mummy movie. I hope they don't fuck it up, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
it'll help that the bar is like down here. The last good Mummy movie was in what 2001.
Yeah. This is tough because it's like, don't quote me on this because unfortunately I would owe both movies a proper rewatch to say this for sure. I would probably rather rewatch Tomb of the Dragon Emperor than the Tom Cruise one.
Oh
Like the bar is that low.
yeah, although the Tom Cruise one gave us the greatest movie trailer of all time, so you know.
It's something.
Ah! Ah!
Like you said, a big charm of this movie is the period piece setting and the old Hollywood feel. Like, because when this movie came out, critics were like, "Ah, it's just popcorn, dumb schlock." But
I
I
don't
feel like
understand. Like,
the movie, a lot of the critics saw at the time are what Mummy 2017 actually is.
Yeah.
Because this has such a fun and sincerity to it, and the cast is so perfect and so committed. And then you get to the Mummy 2017 with Tom Cruise, and that is the most just soulless,
Yep.
corporate. We are capitalizing on trends of the time. We are trying to make a hip, new,
Well,
modern
and just
movie, and it just fails so completely.
well, just watching it right now, we're not even watching a mummy movie. This is just like an adventure film. The mummy hasn't shown up yet.
No, I almost made that joke in the previous commentary because the opening scene is when they uncovered the body and read from the scroll, and I'm like, yeah, that scene takes like 50 minutes to get to in this version.
Yeah. No, this is just like a adventure semi romance movie because like we're
Mhm.
seeding that romance.
Well, and the comedy is like very screwball old Hollywood. I mean, we are two people who defend the prequels. We are nostalgic for those. But while I don't hate the Phantom Menace, that movie also has like poop jokes and fart jokes and
Yes.
stuff that's like, oh, that just takes you out. This movie
Although
has none of that.
there, I will say the one I will defend is the Sebulba one. Is there something really funny about watching that little bastard launch himself at Jar Jar?
I do love Sebulba. I do stand Sebulba. I'll say that.
uh, Tyler, I find it really interesting that he was the action comedy guy and now he's the drama guy. I mean, the that's pretty normal. Like when you can't do, because that's my big holdup with a new Mummy movie is can he still do that stuff?
I'm I'm curious what kind of shape he'll get into and how they'll use him because yeah, like unlike a Harrison Ford who just stayed in fucking incredible shape his entire life. With Brendan Fraser, that is unfortunately a side effect of him fucking up his body making these movies. Is like he's had so many surgeries and things like physically wrong with him that he's recovered, but yeah, I don't know what he can do. Like there's a quote from him where he said like on movie 3 he was basically just held together by duct tape and ice packs. Like
Yeah. Well,
um
even with like his older stuff, like he did toy with other genres.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, he was a comedy guy first and foremost, and some dramas. This made him an action star. Like he wasn't known for action before this.
yeah, like have you ever seen Encino Man?
I have not.
That is a wild movie, but he's pretty good in it. He's the titular Encino Man. He's a caveman.
That that's another thing that some critics at the time were like, "Oh, Brendan Fraser, he's so miscast. He's so wrong for this part." And I'm like, "What movie are you watching? He's so good in this movie."
No, that scene where he roars at the mummy is like one of the best scenes of all time. I love that scene.
And I will say though, as far as his health goes, his most recent movie, Rental Family, like that is the best shape I've seen him in. Like you could see a difference. That like he is getting in better shape
I
than he
should
was
watch
several
that.
years ago. It's pretty good. Like and that like it has comedy in it. It's just a sweet like it's a very simple like comedy drama movie, and he's great in it.
God, I forgot about some of these movies. Remember,
Journey to the Center of the Earth. I saw it. I
I
like that when I
I
was a
I
kid.
saw that, but I was already in like middle school when that came out.
Hmm.
Remember Dickie Roberts, former child star?
I do not.
I've never seen it, but he's in it. He's also in a American drama television film called Twilight of the Golds, which I'm now less interested in because I read that as Twilight of the Gods. Uh, but it's got Faye Dunaway. Well, and what I like about this movie too is there's a methodical pace to the adventure. Like they're actually taking the time to explore this tomb and look into it. Like,
Yeah.
oh god, I wouldn't want to be this guy.
Nope. lighting in dark places. Scary.
Oh my
I
god, I
can see
could
what's
see.
happening.
Speaking of not being able to see, I posted this earlier, but the guy that directed Evil Dead Burn has apparently talked about there's a 10-minute section of the movie where it's complete darkness and all you can hear is just shit going on around. I'm like, why? What? Congratulations, you made an audiobook in the middle of your Evil Dead movie. So the guy there, he's scraping the things out of the wall. Very classic, don't let your greed get the better of you.
Now
Also, I
this
don't
is
know who that
fucked
guy
up.
is, but he just looks like a scumbag.
This is fucked up. We're like, oh, this is probably booby trapped. Let's let the locals, let's let the diggers
Yeah, why not?
get out.
Oh my god.
And that in
I
the early,
love that cut from them melting to Jonathan playing golf.
and like there were booby traps like that uncovered with some of those tombs back in the day.
Yeah. Uh 99 was also just an insane year for him. So Blast from the Past, which I need to see, The Mummy and Dudley Do Right all come out that year.
Wild.
I've heard Blast from the Past is great. That's Fraser and Silverstone.
No.
Oh my god. Did you know that he was in a Sinbad movie?
I did not.
Yeah. So it's a 2000 Indian American animated film. It is the first feature length computer animation film created exclusively using motion capture. So you can guess how that looks.
I'm sure it looks perfect. When I was a kid, this was the scariest scene of the movie.
I'd argue
This is
this
a
is still the
fucked up way to
scariest
go.
scene in the movie.
Yeah, this is not a fun way to go. That CGI shot's a little wonky.
Yeah,
Under his skin.
that's the stuff that I think holds up the least. With the
Yeah.
scarabs.
That's still disturbing though, with it in his face.
Yes. Hey, next time don't wake them up, idiot.
Oh, that looks bad. uh, Another thing I can say that is a testament to the quality of this movie is the first time I ever watched this was actually on TV on cable when I was a kid,
Oh.
which means it had commercial breaks, which means it was like 3.5 hours long, and it kept my attention. And I say, but I remember getting like to this point in the movie, like I've been watching this like an hour and a half, and the mummy hasn't shown up yet.
Give me mummy now.
But that is something kids today can't relate to, is having to that chore to sit through commercials. I mean, we're getting there as streaming services slowly introduce more and more ads.
It is true.
But I'm not kidding. That commercial breaks back then would make like a 2-hour movie like 3.5 hours long. TV.
I remember. I hated watching movies on TV for that very reason.
Hmm. Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
Uh, I don't. I just know that I had them. I don't remember how I got them.
Like, so I saw this one on television. The first of these I thought I saw in theaters, unfortunately, was Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Oh,
But I bought the DVD box set and just watched the shit out of these videos. Like I was obsessed with this movie for a while. Like for a while, this was like my favorite movie. I've saw it a million times, and then it's one of those movies you see a million times as a kid, and then you just don't go back to for years and years. I'm just glad that it holds up. going back to it as well as it does. Like, so I've got plenty of guilty pleasures from my childhood, but this one is like, no, this is a legit classic, and I can comfortably call it that now.
Yeah, for sure.
And the British guy with the stupid umbrella. And I'm not gonna say Steven Summers is like the best action director ever. I don't think this movie is as impressive as like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like I do think that is a better film than this, and even Mask of Zorro is fantastic and arguably better. But this is still like it's still quality. You know, like the stunts, the energy to it. Like it's not the best action I've ever seen, but it is consistently entertaining.
Hmm.
And the commitment of the actors is a big factor in that. Like every 10 minutes, there's a shootout in this movie, and it should get boring, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, no. Well, it helps that you're invested.
Mhm. Leave this place or die. Also, just because I haven't shown it off yet, this is my most current set. This is my Blu-ray collection, which
Cool.
is pretty nice, a nice shiny slipcover. It's got all the old special features, and what makes this different from my DVD set is this includes the first Scorpion King movie,
Oh, that's
um,
cool.
which I still need to watch.
I'm scared to go back to it.
Yeah, for what I missed the Scorpion King when I
I
was a kid.
loved that movie. And because I also remember the music video for Godsmack's I Stand Alone was on the DVD, and I loved Godsmack at the time, so I watched that a lot.
And now this does make a laugh. So for the Mummy trilogy, you have this nice artwork, very black, very classy, for the main movies, and this is a lot like our Friday the 13th set where you get to Scorpion King and it's
Just
just the old Blu-ray.
that's awesome.
It's fuck it.
That's beautiful. We love to see it.
What is a place like me doing in a girl like this? I like the slide. Where he's like, I get your mother and your father, and I get him. I understand him, what he's about.
And I love that. What's a place like me doing in a girl like this? Which
Yeah, very drunk. And he doesn't take advantage of her because he's a good guy. I love
I
that.
am a
I'm
librarian.
a librarian.
I'm half tempted to just buy the first two on 4K, but I think it'd actually be cheaper to get that box set.
That is the rub. That's how they get you.
Because
Um,
the first movie, this is bullshit. The first movie on 4K is $19. The second movie is only $12.99.
there is a curse upon this chest.
It's true.
Yeah, for some reason, it never even occurred to me the parallels with Evil Dead with these franchises. I mean, this one has a literal Book of the Dead.
Yes.
Do you
Of
remember ever
course.
watching?
Do you remember what?
Do you remember watching the deleted scenes from this?
No, I have not
Because there
watched the
aren't many.
deleted scenes.
It's just they're just like short little bits that I understand cutting for time. There is a cool bit when they're on their camels heading to the city of the dead, where they come across all the dead bodies
Hmm.
from the opening scene, and Rick points one out and he's like, "I knew that guy."
That's
It's one of those
cool.
bits where I'm like, "Yeah, I get why you cut that for time, but that's a good line."
No, that's cool.
Yeah, that this mummy looks a bit different.
Tyler wants to know, Robert, is that a glow in the dark pop?
Not as far as I know, but I'm glad he mentioned it. So, unfortunately, this movie doesn't have a lot of merchandise, and the merchandise it does have is hard to get. So I said fuck it and just brought out my Eddie Mummy Funko
Yay!
Pop.
Hey, it's relevant. We
Uh,
played Iron Maiden games last night.
yeah, yeah. And this is from the Power Slave album, I think. Maybe a reissue, but yeah, like
That's cool.
it's Eddie as a mummy, and he looks awesome.
We love Eddie.
Yeah, and I understand people who aren't into Funko Pops, especially back in the day when they were very cheap. The Eddie ones are very well detailed,
Yeah.
especially with the eyes and everything. Like these are quality. These are quality products. And he looks pretty cool. So I said, screw it. He goes with the backdrop. Uh, oh, and I love this edition with the organs and the jars. That's such a fun
Well, that's what I was
like
saying. Is
MacGuffin.
if you wanted to make another one of these, you would just take this part of this movie and make it a horror film where each one of them
Yeah.
takes a jar and now they're being hunted by the mummy.
Now, this does make me laugh because it's the one thing that feels more authentic about the 30s movie is the 30s movie has the scroll, which feels realistic. Here we get like this really big metal cartoonish book. I love it. It's just funny.
Don't read from the book.
So this is something I wish was more clear in the actual film that I did used to find a bit confusing. So Emotep in this version, Emotep is buried alive, right? But then they dump all the scarabs on him, which implies he's just eaten and dead pretty quickly. Um, but at least in the script, the idea of what was going on is that it's like he's buried with the scarabs, but the curse makes him immortal. So the scarabs are eating him, but then he's eating the scarabs. So it's like this weird cycle that's fucked up and gross.
Oh God.
And then eventually they're just all dead. But again, I'm still confused because then I don't know why he's just a dead mummy when they find him. But that is a cool, creepy idea.
Well, I mean, he'd still be dead. It's been like 100 years.
It's been more than 100 years, John. It's
No,
been a few thousand.
no, it was just yesterday.
Okay, but there is a bit later. Remember when he's mostly fully formed, and there's the little scarab crawling up into his cheek, and then like he eats it. That was meant to be a reference to that.
Oh, okay.
That when he's buried with the scarabs, like they're eating
Well,
him and he's eating them, and it's just this weird, gross cycle. And I'm like, that's dark.
well, that reminds me of there's a Wolverine story where he's like buried alive in snow and he survives by tearing off chunks of his own flesh and eating them,
Ugh.
and then it heals because it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't make any sense from an Egyptian mythology perspective, but I love it as a just a horror movie trope.
Well, it's a cool prop.
Yeah.
I like this prop.
Well, and then I don't think I think it's in the next one where they introduce another book, but that one's gold. Or is
Well,
it the end
no,
of this one?
that's at the end of this one.
Okay.
John, you're getting your mummy movies confused. It's like they're the same movie.
Oh. Tyler John thinks mummies were the day before World War One. Well, no, they were yesterday.
Yeah.
Keep up.
So I love how we saw a very practical mummy puppet earlier, and then here we've very clearly switched to CG.
You must not read from the book. So that line has lived rent free in my head for like 30 years, but I could never remember what movie it was from. I in my brain I associate it with Evil Dead, which is why it's funny that you never thought about that. Because I didn't really
Mhm.
think about it other than that line, but no, I love that. Just you must not read from the book. Well, and also as a kid, I would get that and don't go into the long grass mixed up from the Lost World because they sound the same. They're delivered with like the same cadence.
Oh my god.
I hate when CGI bugs attack me.
Ew.
Don't just
What have
stand
I
there.
done? And that is something we never talk about is Evelyn is responsible for so many deaths.
Yes.
Like this is all arguably her fault.
Well, they should have just left her to the mummy, obviously. I sympathize with that guy. Don't step on my glasses, you
Oh
dick.
yeah. Now, riddle me this, John. Is this a plot hole? So this guy has very bad eyes, which is why he needs glasses. And it's this guy. It's this guy's eyes that the mummy uses for himself. So why does he see fine for the rest of this movie if
Well,
he has this guy's eyes?
you're assuming a lot. For all we know, he can't see 2 feet in front of him. He does recruit Benny later to do his dirty work for him. He could be blind.
Just, but we need shots of Arnold Vosloo just like bumping into shit
Yes.
and like looking in the wrong direction.
So they're totally gonna bring him back too for this fourth movie, right? Like,
I don't know. And I don't know if I. This franchise is in such a weird place because the second movie already did just the first one again, and I don't think you can go back to that well with Imhotep again. But I also
but
like Arnold Vosloo's great, but
that's what all these legacy sequels do. It's the first one
I know.
again. Here's everything you remember.
Oh my god.
Tyler says he's also mystically could have fixed that guy's eyes. No, he's the blind mummy.
But there was a missed opportunity there, though, I will say, where it would be funny if he gets these guys' eyes and he's like, ah, these suck, and just switches them out for one of his later victims. That would have been a funny gag.
Also, or just put him in glasses. That'd been fun. Hey, there's a wall there. No, those scarabs look pretty good. And I think they've cleaned up some of the effects in this 4K scan.
No, and when I was a kid, this scene was also legitimately scary.
Oh yeah, no, what he does to this guy is like, oh, just kill him.
Yeah. My eyes. Ah. Or, you know,
I don't know. Maybe it's me. I think that mummy looks great.
I think he looks pretty good. I love the detail, and so this is the most classic mummy you get, but the wrappings they're very minimal.
Yeah.
It's like they've mostly rotted away. Like there's still a little bit of them, but he's a lot more decomposed than previous mummies we've seen. But I think the CGI is pretty good.
Yeah.
But if you ever watch the behind the scenes on this movie, they talk a lot about the visual effects from ILM, and Steven Summers talking about how he's primarily a fan of the original movie, which is why it takes so much of the plot from it. But we mentioned this earlier that the other movies, particularly The Mummy's Hand, have a lot more comedy and that adventure tone that this movie borrows. But another thing Steven Summers talks about that like he very passionately dislikes is what the later movies do of the mummy just shambling around, walking slowly. Like he says over and over again, like I do not just want a guy wrapped in bandages. I don't want the audience to be thinking that.
Here it is.
I
Ah.
and it's funny how much he says that over and over again. Like I don't want a guy in bandages. I want a scary new mummy, and I think it works.
Oh, and it helps that he's not making a slasher movie with a mummy.
Right.
This is an action movie, adventure movie, and then a mummy shows up halfway through. I'm still really annoyed that the other Resident Evil movies aren't streaming. I want to watch fucking Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Oh.
Oh,
You've awakened the mummy. Relax, I got him. I
relax!
shot him.
I
He's
shot
dead.
him.
Don't even worry about it.
And if I remember correctly, in The Mummy Returns too, we also retroactively say that Rick is like part of this ancient order. The
Yes, because he's also a reincarnation of some guy we never saw.
uh
Well, again, and that's where the lore of these movies are weird because we talked about earlier how Evelyn is half British, half Egyptian, which is a reference to the girl in the first movie. But here it's not really a reincarnation thing. Like it seems pretty clear Imhotep's just like, oh, I'm just gonna use your body for Xenon Moon. Like the reincarnation thing's not really in this movie, but then we do that in the next one.
to
So I
be
think that's what
fair
got you
though,
confused.
when he first lays eyes on her, he calls her a knockman whatever.
Xenon
Yes.
Moon.
He
Yeah.
thinks it's her for a second, so there might be something there.
Or it's because he has shitty eyes.
You know, that's also true.
Because her and that actress in the opening look nothing alike.
No, they look exactly the same.
Okay.
No, it's even funnier in the second one. I remember now because they reshoot some of that stuff, and she's there, but also is Rachel Wise. And
Yeah.
I've always liked the idea of the reason for the mummy having the bandages to keep his body together from the decomposing over time. Could be a cool body horror thing. Okay, but with all due respect, that when they do that, they're not going. Well, in 100 years, he's going to get out of this thing, and we don't want him to fall apart when he gets up. The wrapping is cool. It makes for a cool imagery. You don't need that for a movie. Like, I don't know.
Well, and when I was a kid, I do remember wishing he looked more like this for most of the movie, but I didn't understand that this was a throwback to the original.
This is also probably expensive as fuck.
Yep.
I don't mind it because Arnold Vosloo is so good. Oh, also, I forgot he's Raish in Young Justice, which is just correct casting.
Oh. That's cool. That is probably Benny's best scene in the movie. Legitimately well written and such a great idea that just in case he has all of these trinkets and symbols from various religions to pray to, just in case he's in this predicament, and then it works.
Oh no, Arnold Vosloo was in Starfleet Academy.
People gotta eat, man. You gotta work.
Oh, I guess that's because he's in Discovery, so he's like playing the same character.
Oh. No, the last thing I saw him in were those G.I. Joe movies.
Yes, I love him in that first one. Oh, apparently he's in 4 episodes of The Brave and the Bold.
Oh, cool. No, it's funny he gets like all these voice acting roles when I primarily
No,
just
I'm
know him from
sorry.
these movies where he never speaks English at
No,
all.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about Odette Fair, not
Oh,
Arnold
okay, okay,
Vosloo. I got
okay.
screwed up.
That's fine. Well, because Arnold Vosloo, I know for a fact he voiced Black Adam in that Superman Shazam
He's
animated
Blackest
movie.
Adam.
Yeah, and honestly, back in the day, he would have been a good live action Black Adam.
He, I can guarantee you, he would have been better than Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I
Imhotep versus Scorpion King.
I started rewatching Avatar because I've kind of been in the mood for that, and I haven't gotten there yet. But every time The Rock comes up now, all I think of is Avatar, the
The
Boulder.
Boulder.
We love the Boulder. Well, and we can't forget Arnold Vosloo's most iconic performance, which is Agent Cody Banks, which everybody remembers.
And I know this movie has like 20,000 side characters, but they're all great. Like,
Winston's
uh,
peak.
I, I, I love Winston. He's so bitter that he didn't die in war with his friends.
He's just like me for real. I too wish that I went down in a blaze of glory. Or just went down. I don't need to give, I don't care how. Just kill me. Arnold Vosloo is apparently in that Bosch show, but I haven't watched that.
Oh, this is a scene that is a direct line lift from the original.
Silly
Silly
Eastern
Eastern
superstition.
superstition. Don't touch him. Well, in this idea, and obviously we don't show a lot because it's PG-13, but I like this section of the movie where he's still a mummy guy and he has to like wear an outfit
Well,
because he's slowly regenerating as he kills these people. It's such a great idea.
and what's cool too is this is like legitimate PG-13, not this watered down
Yeah.
crap that we get now.
hmm So, like this is disturbing.
Well, what's funny too is like he took that guy's like eyes and it's just like, yeah, I'm not done. Come back.
Blood. See, this is Jonathan's role in the plot. He gets to explain the plagues every
Yeah.
single time they happen.
I because because people judge a character's worthiness just by like what they do and not the support they provide to the characters. Like we mentioned, he is the glue. To tie this back to Harry Potter, I hear a lot of people kind of say that Ron isn't needed, like Harry and Hermione could have solved everything. But like not really. I think JK takes it too far in a later, like in book 7 when they can't function when he leaves. But like when you have a trio, it's a trio for a reason. You need all
Mhm.
three of them.
One of the absolute worst things about modern media literacy and how it's so in the toilet online is people today are so fucking fixated on just plot with no thought given to story, theme, character, where all we care about now is plot. Thanks, CinemaSins. And with Jonathan, it's like, yeah, he's comedic relief. He's the heart, and like he does a couple things, and you know what? He is set up as a pickpocket, which does come up a couple times. But yeah, it's like it's okay to let characters. It's like if you're gonna be obnoxious about it, like what does C-3PO contribute to the plot of Star Wars? Not
Well,
much, but he serves a purpose. The first movie, not Return of the Jedi, where he becomes a god.
that is the best of the C3PO movie. I love God C3PO. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I like C-3PO. I'm not convinced he needed to be in Empire,
It's fine.
but that also because C-3PO annoys the fuck out of me.
Oh my god, he's in on it.
Well, what we're really coming around to is this is the Fez double feature.
Hmm.
The 11th Doctor at
I
some
love
point just
this.
decides to wear fezzes, and he has the line of fezzes are cool, and that's where that comes from.
I agree. And this is also the point of the movie where it's like, oh, these guys are actually good guys, and we're cool now. That, yeah, you killed like 30 of my men, but it's fine. I'm not gonna, I'm
Why
not
doesn't
gonna
he
hold a
like
grudge.
cats? That like plastic statue or whatever looks a lot is wearing the exact same outfit that Rami Malek will wear at night at the museum.
That is correct. Rami Malek, probably one of the few Egyptian actors to play an ancient Egyptian in a movie. I remember, I don't know if it was an interview or what, but I remember seeing something where somebody was complaining about Night of the Museum, like, oh, of course they cast a fucking white guy, and he's like, I'm Egyptian. What the hell?
My favorite recent example of that, thoughts of the trailer aside, is people bitching that the guy that plays Jon Stewart's not dark enough. And I'm like, Jesus
Ugh.
Christ. Benny really was the smart one out of them.
I agree. Benny arguably does nothing wrong. Uh, be like Benny. BLB, that's what I
I
always say.
mean, he did lead that guy to his death. You know,
Debatably.
really, when you think about it, this is what we're missing in a movie. You don't listen to me, I'm just gonna pick you up and throw you on the bed.
Right. Yeah, and I like that there's like kind of a friendly rivalry between Rick and these other American guys, but again, it never gets like stupid with it. Very quickly, it's like, we have a common enemy. The world is ending. We're gonna put our shit away. Like there isn't like just pointless arguing
Oh, you can't kill
after
this
arguing.
guy.
I know.
He's got to go be in Jumanji. Yeah, I also love. You
Oh,
know what? You know what? Case number one for keeping Jonathan in this movie is Rick says, "Jonathan, let's go." No, Jonathan, move it.
oh, and this is the iconic scene where Rick just throws a chair at Penny. Like, watch this.
No. Oh, I love this movie. I have had that happen to me, by the way.
Oh my god, you got whiplashed.
Uh, we were at lunch one day, and somebody threw a sandwich at me. So I thought I threw it at the person that I thought threw it at me, and I got pissed. Picked up one of those metal folding chairs and
Good lord.
yeeted it across the cafeteria at me. Somebody caught it by the leg, like an inch away from my face.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
My favorite cafeteria memory is they served a cake one day, and there was a whiteboard in the back corner of the cafeteria. And my buddy picks up the cake and throws it at the whiteboard. It stuck to the fucking whiteboard.
My favorite cafeteria memory is I remember somebody had like a big ass balloon that they popped. So it was really fucking loud in this cafeteria, just this balloon popping, and my buddy sitting next to me, without skipping a beat, this balloon pops, and he just goes, ah, like acting like he's been shot.
Aw, the hunter's
So
dead.
funny. Oh. Oh, and here we get like weird in between.
Yeah.
He's like kind of Arnold Vosloo, but very CGI.
It works, I think, only just because of the lighting.
Yeah. I'm not even saying it looks horrible. God, I wish this movie had more merchandise.
Yeesh. I'm surprised that Universal doesn't merchandise the fuck out of this.
They should. I would buy all of it.
I didn't realize Steven Summers also directed Rise of the Cobra.
Yeah, that's the first GI Joe movie. He does that, and then
And I maintain
someone
that
else
is the
fails.
better of the two.
Uh, I
Um,
don't know. I gotta
I
watch
mean,
them again or not.
admittedly, this is going off of like a 2 decade old memory, but I remember
Sure.
hating the second one. Oh, and then he made that Odd Thomas movie that I need to see because that's got Anton Yelchin.
Oh yeah. This is maybe my favorite kill in the movie. This is a great scene.
No, it's Sayed.
Yeah, I do love this guy, but it's so cool the way they do it with the shadow.
No, that is
Like that
cool.
that's an effect that looks great.
Oh
Like,
God.
oh. And now I'm Arnold Vosloo.
Yay!
Don't eat that.
Stop eating those. It's gross.
That's gonna be in his breath too when he kisses Evie.
I always think about that. Like, I know it's makeup or special effects, but like, in universe, you're kissing a rotting corpse. The worst one I think is Army of Darkness when she's forced to kiss Evil Ash, and I'm like,
Yes.
ugh.
This would make for a great double feature with Army of Darkness.
Yeesh. Sam Raimi's
Like,
The Mummy would be incredible.
hell yeah. But with Army of Darkness, we talked about on that commentary how I love it. It's such a throwback to old school special effects with the puppets and the stop motion. It all looks great. It's like that. That's like very much the last of its kind. That throwbacky. And then you get this movie, which I think is a nice middle ground, where it's very old school, but there are digital effects. Is kind of an evolution of the process. And I think both movies complement each other very well, and would be a fun double feature. I love this line where he's like, "Are you all right?" And Jonathan says, "Yeah, I think so," or I'm not sure.
The I'll have to look into it, but if I remember correctly, the Mummy animated series, the funniest thing about that is that mostly focuses on their son, and he still has that
Sure.
scorpion bracelet. And I think that's like a main thing in the show.
Mm-hmm. Imhotep,
Imhotep.
Imhotep.
That's scary. That show also looks not great.
Very of its time. Well, we got a whole slew of those like tie-in cartoons with
Oh,
like
you know
Men in
what?
Black,
No,
Godzilla.
this one doesn't look too bad.
I'm sad I missed it.
Yeah. No, I take it back. This looks better than the Jumanji one.
I just know it does that thing that like the Ghostbusters cartoon and all those do, where like all of the characters' hair color is just wrong for some reason.
Yeah, Rick is blonde. Here.
Is Evie a redhead in that?
Yes.
We do that a lot. Yeah, I sure. Did you know there was a Jumanji cartoon?
Yeah, so that's what I was actually talking about. Have you ever looked at that? It's
Yes,
horrifying.
it is. But there are a couple voice actors you'd recognize in that.
Isn't
Uh,
oh god, what's her name?
Ashley Johnson.
Yeah.
She voices the boy in that. That's an early
Oh,
voice acting role for her.
no. I hate the character models in that.
And the Robin Williams character is voiced by Patrick, aka the Stand guy.
Oh, okay.
And here we get
This
the
is
Shaun of the
legitimately
Dead scene.
clever.
Yeah, it's the Shaun of the Dead scene.
Yeah.
He just has to blend in.
Imhotep. Oh, I love Jonathan. He's one of the greatest characters of all time. And not just because we share a name.
Objectively, both the character and the actor.
Oh.
How do you feel about the mouth stretching?
I
Morph
like
effect.
it. I like it, ultimately.
I don't hate it.
I've
Like, it's
that is the
goofy.
one thing that feels of its time, because I feel like we did that a lot. Because
Because like,
Blade kind of does the same thing. Blade 2 kind of does the same
yes,
thing.
yeah. Well, it's because CGI. Like we can stretch body parts like that now,
Yep.
and it looks weird. Now
Go.
remember, these people are possessed. They don't know what they're doing. I fucking just run them all over.
That's fine.
It's war. Desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah.
Again, Evie should probably be in prison at the end of this movie, but it's fine.
No. They're all alive. They're hitting them at like 2 miles an hour. No, the saddest thing of this scene is we lose that one guy.
Yeah, our last American. It's fun. It's funny that he's the last one standing, just because I feel like he has the least personality
Oh, not
of them.
him. Because the guy in the Fez is going to sacrifice himself here.
Yes, yeah, that is true. No, I love that guy.
No, yeah, this American doesn't have much of a personality, but he gets a cool last stand.
Well,
Mowing people down.
well, I do
Oh,
think Imhotep looks cool though with the mummy mouth.
yeah. Vasco just has a presence to him.
Again, I respect the commitment for this type of movie. That like he never speaks English this entire movie. You know that can be really limiting for an actor, but he totally sells it.
And you can tell that, like, they don't know how to replace him in the third one from memory.
Well, third one's weird because they get Jet Li, which is awesome, but then he's just a CGI character for like 2/3 of that movie.
Well, and, famous Asian mummies.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the third one had a cool idea of let's explore mummies of different cultures and expand this a bit. They just fucked it up and made it bad. That's why this is such a weird franchise where we do a second movie that's just the first one again. And then the third movie, the second one is the safe sequel. Then the third one, we try something different and we fuck it up. And then you get to the Tom Cruise one, which tries to do this movie again but update it and then does it horribly. So it's like, what do you do now?
Apparently, you make the mummy believer.
Apparently.
This is just the year for movies that are called something else. The Mummy Believer, the Kujanki. We love the Kujanki.
Tis true.
If only it was a good movie. So, okay. I know that it's because they have to set up stakes for this third act, but he's gonna betray them and try to kill them anyway, and then they're just gonna disappear into the sewer. Couldn't you just done that without giving her up?
Well, they're disparate.
And I like at this point you can already tell he legitimately cares about her. It's not just I'm losing my
Mhm.
payday.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing these guys are moving very slowly.
Yes. I also appreciate that she's still naive. Like she expected him to actually uh, keep his side of
Mhm.
the bargain.
I'm altering the deal. Pray don't alter it any further.
Also, I'm not trying to play cinema sins here. Did he really need to do this? Just go
No.
go.
It's fine. It's a noble end.
I don't want to.
Oh
I don't.
wait, I regret everything.
I would too. They're eating me, and then they're gonna eat her.
Okay, so I want to know what happens to Winston's manservant guy because we never see him again. And I'm like, oh, is he out of a job? Is he gonna be sad that his buddy's dead? What happens to this guy?
Isn't he in the plane?
No, just Winston. I'm talking about his manservant.
Yeah, I know.
No, he doesn't go with them.
He just goes find another guy to serve. It's fine. Winston's his third one this week. Oh, Send
This
Help is
this is fun.
coming to Hulu.
Oh, cool.
Good movie.
So, do do you think we made a mistake in getting a pilot who all he wants to do is die in a plane crash in battle?
No, it's fine. Also, apparently we lucked out because Peacock just added the Mummy trilogy today.
Oh, that's funny. Because, well, I saw that this was also an HBO Max for some reason.
Yeah. Is the original streaming? No.
Thanks, Peacock. No, how I watched the Tom Cruise version finally is that was also at HBO Max for some reason.
I
I was like,
don't.
okay,
I don't understand.
I don't need to own that movie.
No, you do. Buy it on 4K right now. Oh, Teeth is coming to Shutter.
I haven't seen it.
I I'm gonna be honest with how much that movie gets talked up because you know the premise of that movie, right?
Yep.
With how much that movie gets talked up, I was expecting a little bit more from it.
Oh. Oh my god.
This is just an Uncharted set piece.
Well, this is like by far the most powerful thing the mummy does in this movie, and then he just doesn't do anything like this again. It's like, I don't want to be a show off.
It's true.
CGI sand mummy faces scare me.
It's time my enemies share my dread. That's the full. That's my full name. CGI sand mummy face man.
I mean, it sounds terrifying.
It's true.
And I love how Rick just shoots it like that'll do anything, but it's all he knows.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just because his reincarnated memories haven't kicked in yet.
Oh, true. Girl, that is assault.
No.
Yeah, no, I think the plane was fine, and Winston is like, "Fuck it, I'm just, I'm dying in this plane. Damn it."
I'm taking you all with me.
I love the sand wall trick, bastards. No, weirdly enough, the only modern adventure film I can think of that gets close to like this campy, fun tone is probably like National Treasure, but that was also like 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, that was a long time ago. No, we had a really good run from this to the third Pirates movie, and then we just stopped
Yeah,
making good ones.
but National Treasure is another one that I think is very well cast.
But he's gonna steal the Declaration of Independence. And I don't know what people's opinion on the second one is. I remember it thinking it sucked.
It does some dumb sequel trope stuff. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, that's not what I really went back to. I love the idea that his manservant went down in the plane with him. Like, I'm going to die. I'm going to take you with me. But sir,
Well,
I am only 27. I don't care. We go down.
I mean, I'm just expecting Winston to wake up like, wait, no, this is not how I wanted to go out. Not quicksand.
Oh my god, it's quicksand.
And now we're back in the desert again.
I hate sand.
It's rough and coarse and irritating.
I mean, that is also just true.
And this is probably Stephen Sommers' best film, right?
By a fucking mile.
I haven't seen the one he did before this. Well, okay, you know what? I do need to see Jungle Book, his '90s Jungle Book again. I remember that being decent. Because
Uh,
his '90s Jungle Book movie is like one of the two Disney live action remakes we get in the '90s. That and 101 Dalmatians. His Jungle Book movie, he just makes a straight up action adventure. It's way more of a Tarzan thing, but I remember it being fun.
yeah. But what about the second Jungle Book, Mowgli and Baloo?
Oh,
No, I
I didn't
had a
see
live action Jungle Book movie that I don't think anybody on the planet has seen
that.
because nobody ever talks about it. The Jungle Book Mowgli story.
Oh,
You ever seen this one?
nope. Yeah. Okay, so the movie he did right before this, that basically.
Also, I'm gonna fight you for a minute. You said that the sand thing was the most powerful thing he did. He's going to raise the dead. That is the most powerful thing he does in this movie.
Oh my god, it's Eddie from Ed Hunter.
Yay!
It's the
You joke.
Phoenix.
I think there is an ancient Egyptian level in that game. That might be the last level.
Yay.
Uh,
No, I love these mummy henchmen. We get a mix of CGI ones and practical ones, and I think they look good. They look
yeesh.
fun. This is where you get the more. This is where I'm fine with the mummy just looking like Arnold Vosloo for the back half of this movie too. It's with these other mummies, you do get the more traditional Universal. So it's a nice throwback. Or I don't know if you wanted more of the mummy and wrappings, like you do get that in this climax.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he had directed a Jungle Book. But the one that I had apparently is the direct DVD version of that.
Yep.
I remember liking it, but it's got D. Bradley Baker as Elephant, Bee, Mandrill, and Turtle.
Yay. But what I was going to mention is so the movie Steven Summers makes before this is Deep Rising, which I still haven't seen.
Yes, I have not seen that. He was a writer on Tom and Huck, which I watched a couple times as a kid, which is the Jonathan Taylor Thomas version of
Oh.
The Adventures of Huck Finn.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in like director's jail or what, but like he hasn't made a movie in over a decade.
Yeah. Uh, that's a story we've not touched in a while. It's just like the whole Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn thing.
Yeah. Well, because he also did the Huck Finn movie in the early '90s
Yeesh. Which I don't
with
know.
with Elijah Wood.
I guess they're not connected. It's weird that he worked on two of them.
I was getting out of hand.
Also, Tom and Huck, now that I'm older, is just a stupid name for a movie.
I love this reveal when she realizes she's next to the mummy lady.
No, it's great.
Oh God,
That's
that
not
looks
how
bad.
what.
Tom and Huck.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
No.
oh, that looks '90s as fuck.
Yes. I only watched it a couple times, but I'm sure it holds up wonderfully.
Oh my God, we're exploding mummies.
You're an
Now,
exploding mummy?
this is the only time Benny fucks up. Like objectively, this is the only bad thing he does in the movie. Is he has his bag of gold, he's ready to go, but then he goes back for more because his greed gets the best of him.
Well, really,
Damn
that
it,
is
Benny.
that is the moral of this movie. It's just everybody's greedy.
Yeah.
Do you know if that Adventures of Huck Finn movie is any good?
I think I watched it in school. I think that was a Disney movie. I remember it being fine. I mean, Elijah Wood's in it, so he's good in it. I mean, I haven't seen it in like 15 years.
I've never heard of it. I didn't even know this existed.
It's also got Robbie Coltrane in it, aka Hagrid.
Yeesh.
And his Jungle Book movie I haven't seen in like 20 years. I'm due for a rewatch on that. Oh God, that CGI lighting the glistening on the gold he's holding looks so bad. Like very clearly added in post of the light bouncing off of it.
No, it's natural.
So there's another deleted scene here that I think was fine to cut for pacing. Never even occurred to me this was arguably a plot hole. It's when they find the first book. Remember, that's what's booby trapped, and the acid sprays out and hits those guys. And then when they get this book, there's no booby trap. It's fine. There's a deleted scene where the same thing happens, but when the acid comes out, the acid sprays the mummies.
Oh, that would
It's
have been
it's a
fun.
good little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about that either.
But if I was CinemaSins, I'd be really angry about it.
That's true. Have they done this movie?
Probably.
That's a channel that like I thought was funny the first time, and then immediately I was like, yeah.
Oh.
Ugh. No, Steven Summers needs to come back. Maybe with
Maybe good stuff.
the Pirates guy coming back next, it'll be Steven Summers'
Well,
turn.
and you know what? Hot take here. Say what you will about Van Helsing and GI Joe. We've seen other successful directors with way bigger drop offs in quality than that.
Yeesh.
Like I don't know. Like I'm not saying that his GI Joe movie was good, but like there's worse. like Alex Proyas is one of those. I don't know what the fuck happened. He made a couple of bangers in the '90s and then just nosedive after that.
Oh my god, I still need to see Dark City.
And then watch Gods of Egypt.
Do I have to?
Yes.
God damn it. Well, I think the first thing to keep in mind is he's Australian, which is like 80% of the problem.
Yeah.
But
Now,
also, I'm in the minority here. I thought iRobot was fine. It's not that bad.
I haven't seen it. And now these CGI mummies, I think look pretty good.
Yeah.
I love this fight scene, and all the mummies here are 100% CGI.
That's impressive for the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff of this is great. It's Brendan Fraser just going ham, swinging that sword at nothing, and it looks great. Like this climax, I think has a good blend of CGI mummies and then ones in costumes and puppets.
Like these guys.
Yeah, these guys are great. And then we get a little Evil Dead callback here with the hand going for the weapon.
Yeah. And it's a dagger.
Mm-hmm. I love this gag how he grabs the severed hand that's holding the sword.
Alex Proyas apparently has a new movie coming out called RUR.
Yeah. Will it be good? We'll see.
I don't have high hopes because the most popular actor that I know that I can see in here is Anthony LaPaglia, which is like a TV guy.
And oh my god, it's the next tier up of video game bad guys.
Yes. No, I
It's
love
like,
how this
okay,
is structured like a video game.
you fought the pawns, and now you have to fight the ones with swords and shields. Jonathan, now's your time to shine.
Yeah, like this third act doesn't work without him. I don't know why people would complain.
I agree. Well, like so, I
That
can
was
understand.
legitimately scary.
And we get a chick fight. Oh, and here's the other screen.
Yeah.
That's if you made this a proper video game,
That's just
like
me.
that's his power up.
He screams
That's
it, they scream at me, I'm running.
That's his power up move when you're low on health. Is to hit X to make Rick O'Connell scream.
I mean, you joke, but that's basically Kratos' entire power set.
Going up.
No, there's a lot of effort and thought put in of Rick O'Connell is still just a guy. He's a very skilled person. He is still just a guy.
And that's the magic of like these iconic action heroes. Like I said, that you get with actors like Harrison Ford and Kurt
Arnold.
Russell and well
Listen, I completely buy when they cast Arnold as just the guy next door. That definitely makes sense.
But it's with these types of action heroes, it's the fact that he has a vulnerable quality and that the movie lets him look silly.
Yes.
Manifest. And pretty good sword fight.
It's getting out of hand. Now there's 4 of them.
Oh my god, Rick's dead.
He's alive, but he's dead.
Also, Tyler said earlier that I'm always sympathizing with the villain. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, if you think Benny's a villain, that's just objectively incorrect. Benny's a victim. Anxinamun.
Anaxamama.
Ow, my arm.
I just think of that Freddy versus Jason scene. Not my arm. Oof.
We should have seen his arm pop back out like Freddy's does in that movie.
Yeah.
It's really hard to not just watch the movie.
I
It's just so
know.
entertaining.
Oh, and it helps that I haven't seen this in a while, so like it's like, oh man.
I've gone back to this a few times the last couple years. I'm glad it
I
holds up.
I will as soon as I get that Bond game, I'm getting this 4K. There's a couple 4Ks that I want to buy because I think it's funny they exist. Like Godzilla 98 has a steelbook 4K. I kind of want that because I think it's hilarious that went through the effort of doing that.
I mean, I own Van Helsing on 4K, and I have no regrets.
I need that one too. Oh
I
my
love the
god.
shot of him chasing after his soul. Like, no, come back.
He's like, help me.
Take me with you.
Is does he speak English in the second one? Because I vaguely remember that.
Maybe, but I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched the second one.
Oof. Don't do that.
Huh? He's mortal. Oh, now he's turning into CGI man.
Yeesh.
And kind of a throwback to the first movie when he turns into a skeleton at the end. And he says, death is only the beginning.
Yeah, that doesn't look great.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, the head looks fine. It's the water.
Yeah. Yeah, the 90s water CGI usually looks bad.
I mean, how we still struggle with that.
So, like I've said before, Van Helsing, guilty pleasure of mine. I do still enjoy that movie. Mummy Returns, I remember being fine. It's just a very safe sequel that just does the first movie again.
The main thing I remember really enjoying about that is just you get more time with Rick and
Yes,
Evelyn.
and the action's great.
Jeez.
Um, but would you have liked to have seen instead of that and instead of Van Helsing? What if we just kept these characters and had these characters fight different Universal monsters? What if we went that direction?
I think you could have done that. The only thing is we risk is just like because Fraser hurt himself so badly on these, what he'd been able to do.
But if instead of making Mummy Returns, if we made Dracula and it's Rick O'Connell versus Dracula, do you think that could have worked?
Yeah, I think that could have worked. So we'll talk more about it in the next one. But the guy that plays their son apparently was gonna audition for Harry Potter, but then picked The Mummy Returns instead.
Well, I think it worked out fine.
Yeah. And I didn't know this. He retired in 2013.
That's not uncommon for child actors. This gives me anxiety. Like that ceiling coming down. That looks convincing. I don't like this.
Yeah. Joking aside, Benny's ultimate fate also freaks me out because he's basically gonna sit there and rot to death.
Well, he is, but then the scarabs show up.
That's even worse.
Yeah, like I don't know. What do you think is worse, starving to death in darkness or getting eaten alive by scarabs? I mean, they're both bad.
Probably, yeah. I mean, starving to death probably just because it would take longer.
Yeah. And okay, I'm not going to say this is a reference. This is probably entirely coincidental. I also really love that there is this random ass lever that he trips that causes this whole place to just explode and implode on itself, which you could see as a reference to Bride of Frankenstein, where there's just this random lever that he pulls that just blows everything up.
Yeah, that's
I like to
cool.
think I like to think that's a reference.
Benny, you're on the wrong side of the door.
Goodbye, Benny. That is a missed opportunity with the second one, is they should have brought Benny back and had a bullshit excuse for how he survived.
I should have just brought Benny back in the second one, made him the mummy.
That'd be big. Yeah, and that's another thing I'm conflicted about with the second one is, I love Arnold Vosloo in this role, and it's cool we get him back, but you also could have just done the Scorpion King um as the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, it's even weirder because he's really not that important to the plot of that movie.
No, not at all.
And
Yeah,
then
he
that's what gets the spinoff.
yeah, he is in the opening scene, which is the only scene The Rock is in, and then he's a CGI monster fight at the end.
Because
He's
it's
just
interesting because
leaving
I
us
think
here.
yeah, the structure is there too of I summoned this thing, but now it's like out of control. So like Imhotep and Rick have to team up to fight him, but they don't do that either from memory.
Yeah, that could have been fun. And okay, one thing the second movie does that I'll give it credit for is Rick and Evie are still together at the start of that movie.
Yep, because
We,
we do that.
well, that's what National Treasure 2 does. It's the sequel trope where they broke up between movies and now they hate each other and then they have to fall in love all over again.
Yep.
That is the one thing Mummy Returns for sure does that I'll give it credit for is it doesn't do that bullshit and lets them just
Uh,
be married and happy.
yeah, because we've told you about this before, but there's a movie called Deathgasm that I want to make you watch at some point. But they're making a sequel to that, and apparently the main couple in that broke up off screen, and so the second movie is going to be
Oh,
about them getting back together. I'm like, what are we doing?
yeah. And that's the thing. Again, this trope is inherently bad. Sometimes it can be done well, but I am terrified that the next movie they're making with this cast is like just if it's just gonna be their son is dead and they're miserable and they're divorced, like that's like the
So
worst thing they could do.
we'll put a pin in that for just a second. If you're watching this after the fact, we appreciate it. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. With what you were talking about, because I was really excited for the Scrubs reboot, and then I found out
Yeah.
that JD and Elliot divorced off screen after watching 8 seasons of them going back and forth. It's like, I don't know if I want to watch that. And now apparently they're the storyline they're doing is Dr. Cox is sick, and I'm like, oh, come on, why do we got to do that? No, I especially as I've gotten older, don't waste my time. If your sequel idea is well they split up, then that makes the first movies meaningless because they didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
Now, if the first trailer for that is they're divorced, Rick is hidden himself away somewhere and he's all miserable. I'm not doing it. I'm not watching it. It's not canon. I don't care.
One last thing we didn't mention is I think the score in this is pretty good from Jerry
Yeesh.
Goldsmith.
Yes, it is. It's a good score.
And then apparently Alan Silvestri does the second one.
Oh
And I don't remember how the score on that sounds.
no, I haven't went back to that in a long time. Well, Robert, that is our Mummy double feature.
We did.
Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the list on our remake list. I
Yeah,
forgot to do that.
We forgot to mention that entirely. That yeah, this is kind of a revisit of our original and remake double feature theming. We're not bringing this back regularly. This just
We
worked
just
out.
needed a slot. Yeah. Well, and it's not like this is the only remake we've done recently because we just did Texas Chainsaw.
That's true.
But I like trying to like place these
Hmm.
remakes. This
Yeah,
is gonna
I
be
gotta.
pretty high for me. I gotta be honest.
Me too.
Right now I'm sitting at this is number 3. I do think I like Friday the 13th and the Blob a little bit more.
I think this is my number one.
Oh wow, it's tough because my first 3 are all 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. So really,
Hmm.
I could put them in any. You know what?
Right.
I'm gonna put the Mummy above the Blob because I feel like I'd be more in the mood to watch the Mummy at any given time than the Blob. But I'm always in
Well,
the mood to watch a Jason movie.
and for me, and I mean, Friday the 13th. I mean, that's in my top five, but
Yeah. Well, it is
I
the
think this
most
is a better movie
stupendous
than that.
remake of all time. Um, yeah.
And I will say most of the movies in my top five are the ones I'd say I prefer over the original. The Mummy, The Blob, Friday the 13th. Uh, the only outlier there in my top five would be Evil Dead 2013. I don't know if I'd say I prefer that over the original at this point, but you know, it's obviously great.
Yeah. So my top 5 right now is Friday, then The Mummy, then The Blob, then Let Me In, and then Night of the Living Dead. Although I put Night of the Living Dead over Evil Dead 2013, and I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I have Night of the Living Dead a bit lower.
So I do like that remake quite a bit, but
Good movie.
it is good.
And the Mummy, you know, like we've been singing its praises all night, but yeah, I'd say for me it's like a 4 out of 5 movie.
Yeah.
It's not as
Not,
good as some other movies we've discussed, but I still think it's fucking great. I
yeah.
still really enjoy it.
No, it's just a fun movie with likable characters. Uh,
Yeah, quality entertainment.
yeah. Remember when we made Entertainment, Robert?
Yep. Well, and this came out at a time where critics were like, "Oh, this isn't as deep as the original. There's no substance. It's just popcorn fluff." And now I feel like we're starving for this kind of movie.
Which I don't know. Hot take. Having watched them back to back, this is just as deep, if not more so, than the original.
I don't disagree.
I know which one
But
doesn't drag in the middle.
but also like we try our best to just judge a movie on its own terms and what it's doing, you know, and if it just wants to be escapist popcorn fun entertainment, judge it on that, you know.
No, I
And
feel
I
like
think
the '90s we were because we were drowning in that for a while. So the pendulum swung the other way, and now we're in the other way. So the pendulum is like swung back. Also, can you believe we've done 23 remakes?
I know.
And The Fog is still in last place.
Yeah. Right,
Although
do you
Black Christmas almost was almost there.
yeah, but Black Christmas 2019 is my second to last.
Yeah. The unholy trinity of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, Black Christmas, and The Fog.
Yep, that is my bottom three as well.
Uh,
How sad is it? Because I did, because it technically wasn't part of the series. So do you have Psycho 98 on your list?
no,
Because it
because
wasn't really
we
part of
we weren't doing the rankings at that point.
right. But how sad is it that I would still put Psycho 98 put over all three of those movies?
That is, I think I would put Nightmare over it.
Just because it's doing something different.
It's doing something different, and the problem with Psycho 98 is it's a one for one, but it somehow ruins the original. Nightmare is baffling and irritating. I would watch Nightmare over.
That's fair.
Although looking at my list, honestly, the first like 19 are movies that I like. It's not till 20, which is The
Yeah,
Haunting, where I'm like, I never want to watch that again.
yeah. No, when we were doing our wheel spins, like there are a lot of bad ones we didn't get to.
Yeah. Well, and we haven't redone the best one since this list started because like The Thing would be the best remake is the best remake of all
Obviously.
time. All
And
right.
also Robert Eggers' Nosferatu we did, but not really part of that series. If we counted that, that actually might be my number one.
That'd be up there. I'd probably put that just above Let Me In. I just there's something really
Sure,
nihilistic about Let Me In slash Let the Right
sure.
One In that I love. I don't know what that says about me, but
It's a sad movie.
it is. All right, so that is going to be it for us tonight. We will be back Sunday. We'll probably have time for the first 2 episodes of The Walking Dead since Adon is not around. I don't know how long those take on average, but we're going to be letting Noah make all the picks. What I'm going to tell him is pick what he wants, but try to make it at least not just a meme run. Like do what you think the
Sure.
characters would say. Uh,
Yeah, that's fair.
so we'll do that, and then
That
next Friday will be a Lord of Chaos review. Robert, I am fascinated to see your take on that because I know that is not
I
your thing.
I have not watched it yet.
I haven't either, but just I know more. I'm more indoctrinated into the black metal uh, music than you are. Um, so I'm fascinated, and I'll send you a couple songs, not from that band, just from that genre that you might vibe with. And then we're gonna do our Predator rankings, which I'm pretty much ready for. I don't know about you. I assume you are.
Oh yeah, that's a. I feel pretty confident in my ranking on that, but I'd still like to rewatch some of those movies. I need to rewatch Badlands. I've still only
I
seen
do
that
need to
once.
rewatch Badlands. I need to watch that one because I've only watched it twice, and once was in a watch party, and I wasn't tracking what was happening. What's crazy too with the remake list, the Hellraiser remake is like exactly in the middle. We're almost to 30, and that's number 15 for me. I wish that movie was better.
Yeah, that's my number 18.
But yeah, so if you guys like this content, please consider that like and subscribe.